Well, I think MS nurses are a rare breed, and unfortunately throughout the country there are areas where there's very little sort of MS support for the number of people that have MS in that area.
We were very aware that in the years since we developed the MS team, that the number of people with MS had grown tremendously. And we weren't able to see everybody. We weren't able to provide what we thought was a good enough service, and we became interested in the scheme in terms of a way in of gaining another MS nurse.
We saw it and thought, that'd be interesting, that'd be nice if we got it, and we were encouraged to apply, which was great, because I think the MS Trust felt that we did need that help, which was good. They recognised that.
The MS Trust came in and were able to provide funding for extra nurses, and that's not where it stops. The MS Trust then able to provide support and guidance in progressing the team, and also providing support for those nurses in developing their knowledge and skills as MS nurses.
Gosh, I wish I'd brought my list, because we have a list of all the things that we've done, but there have been so many. Our responsiveness to phone calls has been brilliant. We before they came into post, our responsiveness was okay. It was pretty good. We'd get back to people, 90% of people within 5 days. But now it is 100%, and it's 100% almost at 3 days, which is amazing. The numbers of patients we've got is 1,778. We've now got 4 nurses looking after that group, which is still a big number, but it's far better than it was. Because we had 1 to 950 people before, so that's a pretty poor ratio, and you can't give a good service like that.
We see a lot more people. I think that's been a hugely important point. We did actually identify people that were lost to us, so people that we had known at some point, but actually we had lost contact with them. Some of those people had moved out of the area. Some people were quite happy just to be seen by a doctor. But there were also a significant number who would have struggled to perhaps come and see us, or just lost our contact, just sort of perhaps struggling on, or perhaps even managing, but actually not getting that additional support.
Community clinic. I was going once a month, I'm now going twice a month, which was something that was going to happen anyway before I came into post, but obviously couldn't happen until there was somebody in post to do it. And so both those clinics now are full, and that means obviously that we're seeing more patients out in that particular area of Leicestershire, whereas before it was a bit of a cram to try and get everybody in. Now we've obviously got the 2 clinics, and it shows that obviously there's a need, because both those clinics are full.
We've also been able to better monitor disease-modifying treatment, so we've been able to put in place monitoring tools so we can offer a safer service with regards to disease-modifying treatments, and build good relationships with the multidisciplinary team as well, and be able to sort of bring those into our remit and work closely with them.
Well, I think it is time. I think that's the massive thing. We have been able to offer them more time. The people that were lost to follow-up, that we knew were there was a big group of them. We thought we called them the lost 500, but actually it was closer to 700 people that we had lost contact with, which is quite shocking for a big service. But we've been able to get hold of a big chunk of those people now. So that's a massive difference, but allowing people time, and people that have been lost to follow up and think that they've been forgotten.
People with a new diagnosis, we had got to the point where it could take a long time, sometimes more than weeks and months to see people, whereas our aim would be within 4 weeks, and we were achieving that far more often. So yeah, I think hopefully, and answering the phone calls as well, that's a big part of our work, that we were able to get back to people more promptly, and we were able to pick up on home visits, which we've always done, but they had become, they were always the first thing to go when we were busy, and so hopefully we've got back on the home visits as well for people that physically or emotionally are unable to even come to a very local hospital. So it's another means of us keeping contact with people out there.
The biggest difference we've been able to make is just being more available to our patients. As I say, we've been able to expand our sort of clinics. We've been able to expand into the community for patients who find it difficult to make it to the Leicester General Hospital. We've been able to provide clinics there, and also our telephone service is much more responsive than I think it had been previously. We have dedicated time to the telephone, and we're able to if we are not there to answer a phone call, we're able to contact our patients back relatively quickly afterwards. The MS Trust have been massive in my career as an MS nurse. Obviously providing the initial funding for my job, but then offering guidance on developing our service. A few months after I started as an MS nurse, I was able to attend a foundation module, which was wonderful in consolidating everything I'd learned in the couple of months of being an MS nurse. It just helped bring everything together.
Well, there's been lots and lots of ways of support. Obviously, just purely the funding for the new nurses is amazing. But there's we had help producing a report, producing a poster at the last MS Trust conference.
Well, we were just reflecting actually how when we first got the additional nurses, how we had our time out day and sort of planned the future, and were together able to plan what our priorities were. So that was, I think, probably the first step of that. The new nurses were supported by the MS Trust as well. And then we also had Jane, who came and helped us do our report, helped with the patient survey, and did the report, 2 reports, one at the beginning and one at the end, so we could measure some of that, of our achievements.
The MS Trust, they provide their conference, which I've been lucky to go to, and it helps us network with other MS nurses as well, and brings the community of MS nurses together, and just means we can sort of rebound ideas and network, and actually some of our disease modifying tools have been ideas from other colleagues throughout the country. What do I love about what I do? I love being a nurse. I can't ever imagine doing anything else. I don't think I'd be good at anything else.
I work with a fantastic team, and I always say this to people, that it was members of the team were the first people on Christmas morning to wish me Merry Christmas. And I just think I'm so lucky to be in a job I enjoy and with people that I like working with.
I am one of these people that's probably a born nurse, that I am nurse through and through, and that's just, I can't really do anything else. I'm no good at mending things and no good at DIY, so nursing is going to have to stay, I'm afraid.
I think what's unique about being an MS nurse is once our patients are referred to us, they're not discharged from us, so we follow them through their journey in MS.
MS has interested me in the fact that it's very ambiguous, so not one person has the same type of life with their MS as another person, so it's something that I found very interesting. So when I got the job, I was really pleased.
I think more specifically MS, it's challenging. It's a very challenging job in the sense MS is so complex and so varied in the way it can be managed. so the complexity, as I say, is challenging. But I think just making a difference, I get a lot out of supporting people and knowing that I'm sort of doing a good job.
It's learning something new every day, and that's not just from colleagues, not just from the doctors who are obviously massively intelligent, but it's from people with MS as well. They teach you something new every day. We'd like to have more community clinics. We've already produced community clinics throughout the county now, but it's getting more of those and being able to open them up to other people with MS.
There's a lot of new DMTs coming along, and just this year we're starting another one. And we feel we'd like to go back through all the DMTs and relook at the pathways that we had in the beginning, and as we make new pathways for the new ones. So there's that side too. We would like to. One of the things we'd like to tidy up.
We're still very much aware that there are a huge number of patients that we've still not been able to bring back to our service. So we want to be working through the lists of patients and trying to sort of bring them back, even if they don't want to see us, but just to know that we're here if they do need us, and we can be contacted via the telephone and just make them aware of us being there for them if required.